Salut à tous. Je vous propose d'écouter monsieur Harvey Risch, professeur d'épidémiologie à l'école de santé publique de Yale, auditionné par le sénat américain le 19 novembre 2020. Celui-ci va vous révéler, une fois de plus, comme de nombreux scientifiques, quelque chose que vous n'entendrez pas sur France Info, à savoir qu'il n'y a plus aucun doute sur l'efficacité de l'hydroxychloroquine dans le traitement du Covid-19. Alors, n'étant pas capable de vous faire la traduction moi-même, vous allez devoir vous contenter du sous-titrage proposé par YouTube que je vous ai inséré dans la vidéo. Malheureusement, cette traduction n'est pas terrible, mais comme on dit, faute de grive, on mange des merles.
So in doing my research, I sought to obtain reports of every study of every medication pertaining to early treatment of high-risk outpatients. I monitor the literature daily, which is a task. And what I have found is actually remarkable. What I've observed is that while there have been positive reports of a number of drugs, every study of the outpatient use of one particular drug, hydroxychloroquine, with or without accompanying agents, has shown substantial benefit in reducing risks of hospitalization and mortality. So what did I find when I investigated hydroxychloroquine in early use among outpatients? Right. The first thing is that this drug is extremely safe, exceedingly safe. We know this from common sense. This is a medication that's been used for 65 years by hundreds of millions of people in tens of billions of doses worldwide, prescribed without routine electrocardiogram screening. It's given to adults, to children, pregnant women, nursing mothers. Such a drug must be safe, and it must be safe when used in the initial viral replication phase of this illness, which is in fact, in outpatients, initially similar to a cold or flu. And so, could you please put the Lane paper and its supplement into the evidence, into the record? This is a paper showing of more than 900,000 hydroxychloroquine users that showed no excess mortality and no increased cardiac arrhythmias. And also, please put into the record my article from the American Journal of Epidemiology where I discuss the Lane paper. So in spite of this safety, surprisingly, in July, the FDA posted a warning against outpatient hydroxychloroquine use on its website, and they did this while at the same time the FDA actually had no systematic evidence of adverse events in outpatients, and the website itself says that it justifies the warning based on evidence that it had in hospital patients. It justified it for use in outpatients, which is what I said before was invalid. There are now 7 studies of early use of hydroxychloroquine in high-risk outpatients, and every one of these studies has shown significant benefit. This includes 636 outpatients in Sao Paulo, Brazil, 199 clinic patients in Marseille, France, 717 patients in a large HMO network in Brazil, 226 nursing home patients in Marseille, more than 1,200 outpatients in New Jersey, 100 long-term care institution patients in Andorra, and almost 8,000 patients across the entire country of Saudi Arabia. All of these studies showed about a 50% or greater reduction in risk of hospitalization or death. And in fact, the Saudi study was, as I said, a national study, and it demonstrated a 5-fold reduction in mortality for hydroxychloroquine plus zinc, the two of them used together, versus zinc and standard of care alone. And none of these studies have shown a single fatal cardiac arrhythmia among the thousands of patients that were treated in these studies that was attributable to hydroxychloroquine. And in fact, in addition to this, there have been 6 outpatient randomized controlled trials. We've heard a lot about this. These trials individually were small and incomplete and were stopped early, but together, when analyzed together, as we did, they show a statistically significant reduction in risk, and that's what matters. So that's the Ladapo paper, if that could be entered into the record also. So this body of evidence for hydroxychloroquine dramatically outweighs the risk-benefit ratio for remdesivir, for monoclonal antibodies, and for the difficult-to-use bamlanivimab that FDA has approved for emergency use authorizations while denying the emergency use authorization for hydroxychloroquine. This is an egregious double standard that FDA did on hydroxychloroquine that needs to be overturned immediately and its emergency use authorization application approved. I'm restating, that every outpatient study of hydroxychloroquine has shown benefit. There are no studies, as far as I know of, as of last night, that are of high-risk use in outpatients that do not show benefit at all. So now we've spent the last 6 months with formal government policies and warnings against outpatient treatment. The government has invested very large amounts in vaccines and expensive new treatments, which have yet to be proven, while there's been almost no support for evaluating inexpensive but useful medications. 250,000 Americans have died from this mismanaged approach. And even if we find that the vaccines eventually work effectively and safely, as we all hope, myself included, people will still get sick and die, and early outpatient treatment is still and will be continuing an essential part of ending this pandemic. Thank you very much.
Pour finir, n'oubliez pas de liker, commenter, partager cette vidéo, de vous abonner à ma chaîne, de me soutenir financièrement sur mon compte Tipeee ou sur mon compte PayPal. Je vous ai mis les liens dans la description. Et sur ce, je vous souhaite une bonne journée.